Okay, our power's been out. I gotta be quiet, so let's do this little test here. I'll throw this on YouTube a little bit later. Okay, so we have the second sample running 7135s on maximum now for an hour, or actually 2.5 hours, and the first sample running 5. I'm gonna do this measure, and the version 1 is sitting right here, actually providing light, so I can see what this is. Okay, temperature reading. Let's see what we got here. The temperature reading at the top of this refrigerator is 24.4, 24.3. Okay, let's see if we can get a reading from here. So 40.4 on maximum 39. It's a little cooler. This is with 5 7135s. Okay, let's move over to the one with the 735. Okay, almost 60 degrees. We're at 57.5 degrees. Now, to the hand, it feels hot. Like to a child, this would actually feel extremely hot. So this is the difference between 7 7135s enabled versus having 5. There's a big difference in temperature. Like to the feel, it's actually, this one feels not hot but warm. This one actually, it's hard to hold on to because really 60 degrees is quite warm. And as for the light output, as you can see, it's a little brighter, but not a lot. So yeah, so I think what it is that, okay, once you push past 5, the number of amps to the LEDs, you start losing efficiency. For the minimal amount of light gain you get, the heat increases much more over 5 versus 7. Plus the runtime is obviously going to be less. So for any of you that want to enable your all 7, you can do this and you'll gain a marginal increase in light output, but you're going to get a lot more in heat. And like, yeah, that feels hot. This one, yeah. Let's see here. Air temperature is 23 degrees. Head temperature is 41. Between 42 is pretty much stable around there. And over here, 57, almost 60 degrees. And the version 1, even though the version 1 is only running 3 7135s, it's much dimmer. It's pretty obvious. And, oops, I just knocked it over. But yeah, anyhow, it's barely. Let's see. That's still cold. That's with 3, it's 25 degrees, so it's barely warms up. So yeah, but 3 is very low. There's a big difference. So yeah, so the difference between 7, which is almost 60 degrees, 56 depending on the area, 57. The center screw is at 55, and so on. Versus 5 7135s, it drops down to 41. So there's a big difference in temperature, just with 2 of the 7135s enabled more than what the other one is. So yeah, this is what we got. And our electricity is planning to be out. I think they didn't say it won't come back on until 6 a.m. So yeah, so right now we're just running some tests while I can because the power is out. And this is basically proving one thing. And these things all been running for like pretty much past 2.5 hours, now 2 hours 40 minutes, and on maximum mode. And maximum mode meaning the tint mix is roughly around 4K, so it means all the LEDs are actually running. You probably can't see because it's too bright. Oh yeah, you can. The phone is actually focusing. So yeah, so the LEDs are running sort of balanced right now. Yeah, well, the lens is not hot. It's just the head is heating up, which is expected, considering they're running flat out. You try to do this with the Q8, it'll step down after a few minutes. It'll get to the point you wouldn't be able to touch it. But you see, yeah, so this is like, it just shows the difference between running one with 5 enabled versus 7 enabled. So it gives you an idea. And as for the light difference, it's marginal. It's really hard to tell the difference, like with the camera, but I can see a slight difference. Maybe 80 to 100 lumens, 150 lumens at the most, but I prefer it running at F5 because you're going to gain an hour, 2 hours worth of runtime. Plus, it's not so hot, especially if you got children around. Young children would touch this; it would feel really, really hot to their skin. Whereas this one, I don't think this one would melt candle wax. This would definitely melt candle wax. This would probably melt a hot glue stick right now because of the heat. But yeah. So there's some more tests running, as you can see. Yeah, the orange LED versus the green, yeah, and the old version 1. This thing is a little beat up and rough shape, but yeah, it still works. And it's where it all started 3 years ago, and I still use this one. Yeah, there we go. Have a good night, everybody. DBCR out.